Ready to update your home, but not sure what to do? Not to worry, we've got plenty of design tips and ideas that hopefully will help get you started on today's SoFlo home project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. When it comes to designing your home or tackling a home project, there are a lot of things to consider. A well-designed space should have a cohesive flow throughout the room or rooms, and this could easily be accomplished by selecting a theme or style that gets carried throughout the space. Today, we'll look at getting you inspired with design styles of past decades, wellness home trends, clever design tips for small spaces, and much more. So when it comes to selecting a theme for your home design or decor, sometimes it's nice to go with a certain decade of style. Because what we find is that there's a lot of pieces of furniture that have a certain essence or feel of the design style of a certain era. For example, we are seeing a resurgence of 80s style design. And what I mean by that is a lot of, like this chair here, sort of soft, rounded, more bubbly furniture, much like the ottomans here as well, round and interesting in shape. Organic shapes are still bringing in a little bit of that 80s vibes. There are so many different eras that you can choose some inspiration for your home decor, and we've got a few picked out that'll help you along. So what is the background of this particular home?
We decided, why not bring mid-century modern into South Florida? You hardly see that architecture, and you can make it a Florida type home by building it around the pool and the outside. And there's usually very tall windows in mid-century modern homes. There's usually a lot of clear story glass, so it really fits for our area.
So we've got this beautiful wall detail clad in wood, but then underneath it, another natural element. We've got the natural stone and the double-sided fireplace.
This fireplace is made up of two separate units. As you can see, that's how we put them together. And then you look at the marble, and the marble is seamless.
So we talked about the palette here being very neutral, the lines of the furnishings keeping in line with mid-century modern, low profile, very clean. But you brought in some fun patterns to kind of bring that through. Share with us what you did here.
Well, the client had this sofa already. And I said, this is a fabulous sofa.
It is.
For this living room. So let me bring in some fabric. Instead of having individual cushions, I brought in a fabric and made two long, clean line back cushions.
So this was like what would be the back cushion of a sofa. Instead of doing the throw pillows, you've kind of bought the concept of the accent pillow to the back cushion.
Exactly.
Which is genius. And to our viewers, that is another great way to change up an existing sofa, infuse a fun pattern. And for those who don't like throw pillows, I personally love them, but this is a great way to do it.
Mid-century modern, you can't have a lot of throw pillows.
It's a great way. So take note on that. Great design tips, Helene.
Thank you.
And this particular home is inspired by your love of a certain decade.
Thank you, it is. It came from the building, which is vintage 70s. So I pulled the furniture in, and then I mixed my own designs here as well, custom.
So, Kevin, we're in the living room.
Yep.
Beautiful, spacious, great views. But I want to talk a little bit about what you did with the entry. It's cool, you feel a 70s vibe, but it's so chic. There was this amazing sculptural light fixture above and great wallpaper.
Well, that was a fixture that came with the building when I got here, and that was the only thing that I liked. I called it my Star Trek Enterprise.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And I've got the horizontal paper, the vintage Bruton console, and just from there I went to town with just keeping it simple.
And you used, through the paper, new materials that still bring out that vibe of the 70s era. And now we're in the main area, the living space, nice open area. So you got a ton of seating, a great look.
There you go.
You have a lot of different finishes that all work so well together. The mixed metals, we've got the glass, because that's something also very important in bringing in a specific decade or era of design?
Before the 70s, it was mostly wood. It was very commercial. And the 70s, through bending metals and glasses and brasses and bronze, it really transformed the furniture industry. I mixed the 70s inspired stools, which are twisted brass. I did the dark upholstery to tie in with the tapisserie. And then I designed the table to work with the Madagascar top, lucite base, which works with everything else.
Absolutely, I love lucite, I think. And we're seeing a lot of that in home design
It's
again.
coming, yeah.
So that trend coming back, you're seeing it in table bases and
Yes.
stools and chairs, like the legs of a lot of different pieces of furniture. So that is a nod to the
Yeah.
70s, and you've kind of bought it nicely throughout as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So I just absolutely loved the mid-century and of course the 70s. Who doesn't love bringing in a theme from a certain decade? And hopefully these will just get you started, but there are a lot more design styles that you can consider. Coming up, see how to bring a spa feel to your own home on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to share tips and ideas for your own home projects. But one of the ones that I wanted to address now is the wellness trend in home design. So our home truly is our oasis. And over the last 2 years, I think we all realized how important having a home that is comfortable and relaxing is to our everyday being. So coupled with the wellness design trend, our homes are becoming places that also feel better just to be in it, whether it's a room or the house as an entirety. There are some ways that you can incorporate wellness design tips throughout your design. When you walk into the space, and we are only right here at the entryway, it feels like you're walking into a luxury resort. So this is almost like personal resort style living.
That's 100% the thesis and what we were looking to accomplish, so I'm glad that you said that.
So tell us how a lot of these features and details in just the entry itself help define that tropical modern architecture style.
So here, the elements, as you can see, to bring in are very warm woods.
Yes.
So we've decided to use kumaro, and it's been oiled, and the kumaro just brings the warm tones to the architecture. You hear of a lot of places in Miami, they develop the big white box. So what we wanted to avoid was the big white box.
You mentioned the wellness trend.
Yep.
And that is something in design and architecture is really becoming very popular.
Yep.
And I think also in this day and age with everything that is going on with the pandemic, wellness is really so paramount. And bringing it into the home, you sort of merged those two things in this project, right?
Absolutely. So we focus on 3 pillars: nature, wellness, and technology. And the wellness side of it, we brought in air purification systems, water purification systems, as well as circadian rhythm lighting. So we were a little bit ahead of our time as far as the forefront thought on wellness, but that's something that we're very proud of.
So it's not just about certain areas of the home, the entry and other rooms. The bathroom is another area where you can have that spa-like feel. A spa bath is one of the most requested things that I find people want. And we're going to share with you some tips on how to make your own bathrooms feel like a luxury spa. But first, let's check in with our friends from FHIA and see what they have going on today.
We're still getting a lot of questions about changing out roofs, and I'm hearing from a lot of homeowners about the different options that are available and making sure that they're making the best decisions for their home in deciding to change out their roof. And one of the things that we often talk about when we meet with homeowners is what are our expectations and what are our goals when we're changing out our roofs. And a lot of times homeowners are saying they never want to do it again. They want this to be the last roof that they ever put on. So there is a solution for that, and there is a way that we can accomplish that, and it's by using the Integrity Roofing System. What we really love most about the Integrity Roofing System is it's never any additional charges for the homeowner, and it really includes everything. And we recently had an experience with a homeowner that really kind of illustrates why it's so important to make sure not only you're making the right decision with the contractor, but also choosing the right system. So we recently met with a homeowner that 12 years ago put on a new roof. And when they were putting on the new roof, they asked the roofing contractor to put on 2 layers of felt paper. So the roofing contractor did that. They put 2 layers of felt paper on, and then they put the shingles over top of that. And again, I'm sure that contractor knew that doubling up on the felt paper was not going to make it any more preventative from water getting into the home. So you telling the contractor to double up on the felt paper, A, you just paid additional for something that's not going to even come close to accomplishing what you were trying to do. It was also voided the warranty, so they have no warranty. It was a 25-year supposed warranty, and they have none, and they're looking to replace their roof 12 years later. Asking the right questions and making sure you're choosing the right contractor that also listens to your questions and gives you the right answers is so important, because here's a family that had a roof put on 12 years ago that should never be replacing their roof already, and yet they're doing it again. But this time they wanted to make sure it's done right and that now they never will do it again. So we're certainly glad they gave us the opportunity to meet with them and help them out so that they never have to do it. And they chose a great roofing system, and they're going to be so proud and so happy with the decisions that they made. Back to you, Elena.
So when it comes to creating the ultimate spa bath, it's not just about what you put in the bathroom in terms of fixtures, but also about the materials, natural stones, relaxing soft colors. There's a whole lot more that contributes to it than just the actual fixtures themselves, and we've got some serious spa bath inspo for you to check out. Rishi, this is the ultimate master bathroom.
Thank you.
It is that resort style living, elevated with all of the amenities. And I kind of want to start with this, because this is just amazing with the skylight at the top. So you talked about bringing the outdoors in. How important was it to add that feature?
Yeah, this was honestly one of the first things we drew on the program. This is just kind of the cherry on top when you talk about the indoor-outdoor living program that we've curated here.
So this is an amazing shower. It's almost like an outdoor experience, but inside. But in case you wanted a true outdoor experience, you have not spared that either, because right behind us is another amazing bathroom.
Yes, so the idea was much like resorts that you will see in Southeast Asia or Hawaii. There's lots of outdoor bathing opportunities.
Yes.
Because you're surrounded by nature. It's this whole concept of nature bathing. Literally, you're bathing in nature outside. One of the ways that we look at designing the home spa experience inside the personal resort is being able to go as natural as possible. So as you see in this bathroom, we have unfinished honed marble, and then you also see walnuts with their natural grain, as well as additional stones. And for me, it's what is the theme of the spa that you're looking to create? And for us, it was this idea of very natural, very raw, and those were behind the materiality selections.
Coming up, learn how to maximize your design style in small spaces on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to share ways on how to jumpstart your home projects, whether it's getting a theme or figuring out what type of design style you want to bring in. We've got you covered. How to make small spaces look bigger. And I started my design career in New York, so I am so used to working with small spaces, and there are so many ways to maximize them by doing simple things. And here's just a couple of those tips. But I really want to share with you guys how I made this feel larger, because it's actually only 850 square feet total, the entire condo. And in situations where you have this sort of open living room, dining room floor plan, you really have to make the room work for all of the functions that have to happen in it. So first things first was I needed to establish a dining area. A round table really maximizes all of the space around it. If I had gone with something rectangular, it would not really work well, especially with this angled window behind me. So this kind of creates a nice flow of space. So first tip, if you are in a smaller space, a little bit more narrow, a small round table is always a great choice. Now, having the lighting above it definitely also helps. Adding a bright light already makes it feel bigger. So more opportunities to add brighter lighting. That's just another quick tip, is when you are working with a smaller table, your light fixture needs to be in scale of that. So I had to go a little smaller. This is about a 20-inch diameter. So you see, it just doesn't overwhelm. A normal size larger dining fixture would have looked a bit too much here. So one of my favorite tips to make a small space look bigger is mirrors. So what I did here, I added a full-length floor mirror to reflect all of the light in this area. And when you really place that right, it almost creates the effect of another window because all of the natural light is bouncing off of it. This was a really awkward corner. I had nothing to put in here and I thought, what a great space to create a little nook, a small lamp, another opportunity for lighting, a little chair for reading, or honestly just decorative as well, and this mirror. So creating a little vignette, if you want to say, in the awkward corners, always adding a little mirror, helps kind of treat that space, and when you have that reflectivity, it really opens up the room as well. One of the biggest design elements in this room for me was the wall covering. I wanted one strong accent wall, and I went with this beautiful pattern here in like a charcoal gray tonality. And what was so important about going with some darker tone here was that it was such a great juxtaposition to what's on the other side of the room. And by adding a darker color, it really adds some depth. And then I went with a very, very soft, almost white gray for the rest of the walls to balance it out. So I want to point out one more thing. In this particular case, it didn't work for me to have chairs here because my dining room is right here and I wanted to create an open flow. And on the other side is the kitchen, which you will see shortly, and there's a whole lineup of chairs there. So it sort of creates one almost linear conversational area, and I have the accent chair that could also pull in. You have to really plan for your space. Here I just did a deeper sofa, so it's a little bit more comfortable, and added a pair of end tables with the lamps. Again, in a smaller space, you really want to have every opportunity to bring in more light, and especially in condos because you don't have the opportunity always of a full ceiling of recessed lighting. So if this mirror here looks familiar, it's actually because you just saw it in the previous clip. So I've since moved the mirror because mirrors are the best way to reflect additional natural light in a space and make any space, big or small, look that much bigger and more beautiful. Coming up, make your home reflect your personality on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing to share tips with you on making your home feel more cohesive in design by bringing in a theme and some other ideas to sort of connect all of the rooms and spaces. So we've talked about adding a theme from a certain era or decade, from mid-century modern to even the 70s, to thinking about ways to make your home feel more like a spa or a retreat. But there are also some other ways if none of those work for you. Tried and true is to make your home personal. So whether it's cultural influences, things from your travels, or even hobbies and passions, all of those things are great ways to bring in artwork, accessories, things that really personalize your space. And there's no better way to make a house a home than by truly making it personal for you and your family. So did you start with this room and this piece of art in particular?
Yes, so my first instinct was to highlight the water view and kind of reflect it, and the best way to do it was to create a piece of art, which is something that I personally do a lot, but you can also purchase one with the colors that you want and then use that as the inspiration for the whole rest of the decor. I feel like coffee tables are a great way to show personalization, especially
Definitely.
with the books that you put on top and the candles or scents that you go ahead, and the iconic flower or floral centerpiece.
I think that is great advice. One other thing that I want to talk about is the entryway. The personalization starts right from the very entryway in your condo, because when you walk in, you are greeted by this gorgeous turquoise color on the walls and some more spectacular art pieces. Are those also from your own personal collection or your own artwork itself?
Yes, they are.
I love that. And then you also personalize with some more books and some sculptures and fun pieces as well.
Yes, some of the sculptures are from famous street artists.
Well, you definitely have captured the essence of South Florida, and great colors, but also great storage. You did some really unique things in the entryway.
You know, sometimes hallways are completely misused as space, or a space that is only for entering. Sometimes you can't can't even fit a sort of mudroom. And in this case, we fit a washer, a dryer. They are on the smaller side, but they are so necessary in every household. So that was a great way to have them be accessible and perfectly concealed.
It's a perfect table in the foyer to put your bag, keys, whatever you need to do.
And doesn't make you realize that you're literally walking in through a laundry room.
Right, I love that. You've concealed and personalized and stylized the entryway. So we hope that you guys enjoyed today's episode and got lots of inspiration for doing some updates to your own home and connecting a cohesive design throughout. And now let's take a look at what design inspiration we have planned for you next week on SoFlo Home Project. Next week on SoFlo Home Project, we visit one of South Florida's oldest and grandest mansions, the 100-year-old stone house at the Deering Estate. It stands as a monument of the architectural revival period. And before we go, let's check in with Hunter Frankie, the host of SoFlo Health, and see what he has going on tomorrow. Hunter, what's up?
Hey there, Elena. Tomorrow on SoFlo Health, we are washing our car. But don't worry, it's just not me just washing my car. We're also talking about how you get a workout out of it, and we consult a professional car detailer to give you some tips so that you don't mess up your car when you go to wash it yourself. I've learned a few things already. Plus, we talked about the Theragun on a previous show, so Dr. Sam's going to show you how a professional would use a Theragun. Morgan Shapiro gives us some tips on using the barbell in the gym so that you do not hurt yourself. Behind the scenes look of a meal prepping facility to give you some ideas on how to keep eating well. All that and more is tomorrow on SoFlo Health at 12:30 on the one and only Local 10. I gotta rinse this off.
Thanks, Hunter. We will definitely be watching. And to our viewers at home, thanks for joining us this week. And we hope to see you again next week for another episode of SoFlo Home Project right here on Local 10. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at SoFloShows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram